Okay. Watching the daily first. Oh. Where will this one bounce? We've been through this daily fair value gap, so then we have the daily imbalance here. So IB, and we have the EQ of that IB. So that is definitely something to watch, though we have some support going on over here. So I just go to the 4 hourly, we just look for where it can bounce, and definitely this one catch my attention. 4 hourly fair value gap here. I did not trade into CPI. That is, yeah, you better not do that. We have equal lows here. Equal lows here. All right, and equal lows. Okay, 1 hourly. Go look for the same thing. Where is the fair value gap? That's over here. So we've punched through that. I think it could get back higher. Here we have a small imbalance, I guess. Yeah, we have a small imbalance and equal lows. Okay, so the equal lows here are perched. So and we can still bounce from the 4 hourly. The 4 hourly can get back inside, so I will look for some kind of long here. So go to the 3 minute. It's catching a falling knife. This was really impressive. The CPI, what was it? I didn't even know. Okay. It's a higher. So trading this will be difficult. So you gotta have a perspective on the higher time frame, and I see equal lows here. Will this bounce? We have a tiny IFEG, an imbalance here. It does not get over it, so it will likely just drop a little bit lower. There's nothing really that stands out. It's just really crashing right now. How much down? That's -2. That's a lot. I said it yesterday. What would be less, or what is less expected? And I said some kind of market crash, and it did happen. So we did. It's not like massive, but still, this is quite a crash. So we look at this equal lows here, and I think we need a purge of that, and then we might bounce, but there is no fair value gap here. So then my thought was that we will actually bounce in this daily fair value gap, but we didn't. So you gotta look for lower. The imbalance is here as well. So here we have the purge of the equal lows now. If there was a fair value gap in here, then this would have been perfect. You got that purge of equal lows. Now it's just could get into this region, the IB, the equal lows here, and then the move down. But there are no fair value gaps here, so then we have this one as next one. Yeah, it's really catching that falling knife in here, and I would say even that one, it could just drop. Yeah, but the next very important zone is here, this imbalance, of course. But given the 4 hourly, we could still bump it back up within a 1 hour. So it could bounce here to get back inside the 4 hourly, okay? So I will look for a long. If this one inverses, I'm in. Okay? So IFEG, if this one inverses, I'm going to take a long. Just going to share this one on X. NQ, inverse, FEG, and R long. Okay, so the reason behind it is pretty clear. I want to see if the 4 hourly can get back inside the 4 hourly close here. That would be perfect. I'm just going in with 20, that's $40 per point, okay? And I'm using the MNQ. Otherwise, I cannot take half or take partially decently. So here, that's your IFEG. So you flip that, and you're looking at all this liquidity over here. So that's probably where you should target. Maybe even equal highs here. That's perfect. Perfect. Equal highs. That will be perfect here. So you got that one, and your stops should be like this, and this would be TP1 then. Okay. Yeah. So like this. But you gotta wait for the close. Close above, and I might enter a bit quicker. But you better wait for the close above. So equal highs. It's tricky because you're catching a falling knife, but a minus 0.2%, around 2% is definitely something to bounce. And if we do get back inside the 4 hourly, that would be a nice trade. Okay. So this one stands out to me. You gotta look at 2 minute maybe. Even the 3 minute, it depends how low this will go. For now, it's the 2 minute that we should be looking at. So you have this IFEG here, okay. We purged equal lows here. We have some 4 hourly support. This is clearly support, okay. So thinking about entering 10. If I see some bullishness, I'm going to enter with 10 and then add 10 if it closes, but not yet. Let's just be careful about this. What else could happen? The EQ of those wicks, that's definitely something that stands out as well. Yeah, or you can look at the EQ of the daily wick. Yeah, that one. Okay, so going to the daily here, that's probably going to be your... Okay, on the weekly, sorry. On the weekly, come on. And here we have the 2 minutes I want to watch. On the weekly, you take the EQ of that wick and there you got it. Okay, so this I'll probably enter with 10. So I'll probably enter around here. Let's see if I can enter. I need a reaction of that. Otherwise I won't enter. If I have the reaction, I will. And otherwise we have the daily. This, okay, this EQ. That's also standing out. This EQ there. It's going to be around here. So back to the weekly, I want that one on the chart as well. Going back to the 4 hourly, it's massive, this move. Let's, I think I'm going to try 10 here. I'm going to place a stop loss for here. It's got that entry down there. Then the IFEG. Okay. Maybe at 5. Right, wait, I have to count how much the loss will be if this is 22, 22. Okay, so that's fine. I'm actually going to add 10. Take that stop. Taking some risks here, but I'm fine. It's blindly catching that knife, of course. And we have another EQ here, so let's not... It's not a setup, it's just blindly trying to catch this knife. Now we need to flip this imbalance. Where's my... Like I said, it's very risky right now. What I'm trying, if this one flips, then you have a nice long, but I'm trying it already. But it could still drop towards this EQ. We will see what happens. Super risky, would not recommend unless we flip this one. Here I will take some profits. Here I will do like TP1, half. And then place a stop loss and profit, okay? That's liquidity here. Need some bullish momentum now. RSI is very low. 4 hourly. Do I have the other one? No. View abstraction. Abstraction. Let me check the. We have a level here. Let's check the weekly. This will be an important level. Let's check the daily. Yeah, so we're at support 2, as you can see. That's some indicator that sees some kind of support here. So if it was somewhere to bounce, it should be around this, in this region, in my opinion. Is it tricky? Yes. We're still trying to catch a knife here. And I'm going to be very quick with taking half. So here I am going to take a half. There you go. And I will make it to 10. And what would I do here? Let's just move it like this because I don't want to be stopped out. Okay, there we go. That's already good. You could place it in stop loss, in profit, sorry. I'm gonna take some more over here. You're just scalping a bit. Will I place it in profit? I think that's safest. No. Place it in stop loss. And profit, sorry. This was a trade at first, 17,603.75. Let's take 2 more. Okay, so now I'm in with 8 only, and I will just run it towards the highs, okay? Good one. Very well. So you gotta have the fair value gaps on the chart. You gotta have the 4 hourly, the 1 hourly, the daily, the weekly. Gotta look at those, and the EQs of the wicks, the imbalances. But yeah, the equal lows and the EQs of the weekly and the daily wicks was definitely the one that told me that we could actually bounce. So just got back for a new haircut, came into the charts, and we have profit already. That's great. 1 loss, 2 wins for today. Scalping this NQ falling knife. If it hits stop loss right now, I don't really care, and it might. And then maybe we get another entry if it drops again. Or we get an inversion here for longer, because here we have the equal highs. Okay, so stopped out of the remaining part in profit. That's great. So I think it's around $300 trade profit, which is great. Okay, Can it still go higher? I guess so. We have a new trade if this 2-minute inverses. The 2-minute here, if this one inverses, gotta look at the equal highs. That would be nice if we could hit the EQ here. So that's the daily EQ. Or if we, let me think. Here we have a fair value gap, you see, on the 3-minute. So we place that one FEG. And on the 1-minute now, maybe if we take out a low, but there is no low here. There's no swing low. If this one was higher, we had a swing low. So it would be nice if it could drop again. Otherwise, we have a fair value gap here. That might be the IFEG for those. Currently, you actually had a short. You had a great short here. Okay, so you see, it went into a fair value gap. It created equal highs up there, or it took that one out. Then it closed below, and that's your short. But because we are already so low, I wouldn't take it as a short, in my opinion. I see this as equal lows here. So equal lows, if we can inverse this. Something like this might give a long. What about the DXY here? Let's have a look. Yeah, crazy. Okay. So that was what I was looking for as well. If you was looking to the stream a couple of days ago, I was looking for the 4-hourly to flip and then look at the eyes here. We have a weekly fair value gap here, major level. Major level. So gotta look at euro. Didn't actually really move. So it's oh yeah, no, we're on the weekly, it didn't move. We dropped into, okay, this could be a nice long. Let me just show you. Remove everything. We have a low. So that's great. We have the daily fair value gap. Okay, that's awesome. Daily fair value gap. And now you could look for a long because we might bounce here. So this is perfectly what I'm looking for in the setup. Okay, so it's a bit tricky right now, but I do think that we will punch through and that we will flip this one for a long. Maybe just wait for at least this one to flip. 15 minutes. So maybe if the 15-minute flips, you could have like a small long on here, a hard stop here, because it could go lower and then make a new setup, but I don't know. It's really nice that we purged the low. It's really nice that we've hit that daily fair value gap. I'm not trading this on that account, but maybe Euro futures. That would be this one. I could make a trade, I think. Just going to place it here. But yeah, it's really choppy, so I don't really... And I have to look what the contract size is for this one. Let's have a look. I'm doing the Apex trader. So I have to look here. Currency instruments, CME 6E. I'm not sure, should look. Yeah, I don't know. Should try it out with like a couple of lots and then see how it goes. But maybe I think I might take a long here. Okay, so we're watching the 3-minute. But I think the euro is a bit better given that we've hit that daily fair value gap. We are below Yeah, I kind of want to long this. Daily FEG. We're below liquidity. That would be the perfect long setup. I have lots of liquidity down there, so could be. It's perfect because you were rebalancing in a fair value gap and we took out equal lows. I just don't really know the space alert here. Thinking about longing NQ again here. Will I long this? We have 2 minutes and there's a huge imbalance going on. I might do it on my other account, not on this one, because I really want to trade NQ only. But I will probably take a long here on Euro with my other account. I do want to long that. So to close this one, sorry. I think 200. Let's have a look if I do. So I'm just going to try a long on this. Very tight stop loss, and we are going to target the EQ of this move. So that's going to be the long trade for Euro. I'm not entirely certain, but we hit the daily fair value gap. We flipped the IFEG 15 minute. I'm on another account. I'm just really using small lot size. So be careful. Back to NQ. I want to long this again soon. We had the weekly EQ. We have the, okay, we're getting into the IB. Here are we hitting that daily IB. Very important level. Okay, so watching the 1 minute again, I have to go here on the MNQ because I want to enter the long in here. Blind long. I don't have the seconds chart, but maybe blind long. Blind long 10. Tricky. Blind long 10. Maybe. Let's give it a try. It's tricky though. You have the EQ of that wick. I need to check. So maybe I'll add. No, I think 10 is enough. Still tricky. You're still catching a falling knife. This needs to hold. Then I might add 10 and place stop loss here. Let's try. There you go. Not going to shout too loud here, because I'm not entirely certain. We're still bearish, and we'll see. I did my risk a bit lower, so I have a stop loss below the EQ here. I will make 10. I will take 10 quickly. Shit, I won it already. Come on. Okay, here I take 10. Modify. And place it here. You could place it in stop loss right now if you want. But I guess I'm just going to take a bet here on a major run. And yeah, I have the stop loss at this weight, so that's nice. I already took some profit. Okay, so now I will probably let's leave it a bit. Let's just wait and let's see if it can go for equal highs here. I don't really care if my stop hits now. I'm in profit. I don't think. Let's see how much loss this would be. 20. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Come on, pump that one. Pump it to equal highs, taking, I think, another 3 then. And then I will move my stop in profit. Now I can still lose 400, but overall I would be in profit, so it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to risk it. Because I am trying to catch the bottom here. And even if this one hits, I'm still in profit for today, so I'm fine with it. Okay, so Euro, I am in a small long, but like only one lot, so I can't really lose much. I think about 180. That doesn't really matter too much. Going here, and you see that why you have to look at the daily. You have the daily IB here. Yeah, you have some wicks, EQ wicks. And we can still move back inside. So that's what I'm looking for. Move back inside this 4 hourly within half an hour. That would give me a nice profit. Let's see how much that would be if I just wait for the 4 hourly to hit again. I mean, that could be something nice here. Like 60 points. That would be, if I don't take profit, would be 1,200. Yeah, probably won't hold it till that for the 10. But would be quite epic. You see that wick? That's quite bullish. You might wanna have this one on now. The EQ of this wick. Whoa, this is really great. This is great. Okay, I'm going to take 2 more lots out. And now I am going to place that one in stop loss. So here we have another risk-free trade. There you go. Am I still live streaming? Yeah. Is the stream fine? I'm really getting better at NQ. It's really nice to trade. Yeah, sorry, I'm just sharing some stuff. I think I'm just going to hold the 8 contracts here. What an epic long is this. Really nice. Equal highs. Going to take 2 more lots and then I'm just going to wait for a way higher. Okay, so 2 more lots. Because I like profit. And now I'm just going to stick with the 6 contracts till we hit the 4 hourly fair value gap here. And yeah, the 4 hourly fair value gap, because that is the region that I actually want the 4 hourly to close. So I want to close within 20 minutes above that level, and this could trigger a new long for higher, because we don't, if we close below, then I would look for even more shorts down here, equal lows here, maybe even the bottom of this IB. If you look on the daily, the EQ of the IB, the bottom of this IB, if the 4 hourly closes like this. And to actually say the daily will probably close below this one, so we should actually look for those in coming days. So even if we bounce a bit higher, I think, and even if it goes a bit higher back here, I think we should go down. I think might trigger a sell model. We're at 8. I said this week we're at 18k psychological, and the main thing that I was looking at was ES. So ES on the weekly, look at this was my target. This is my monthly. If you look into the blueprint, I'm a course on WOP. So I have a course, the blueprint, and I have a course on Elliott Wave. The blueprint says you have monthly, weekly, and daily frameworks to work with. And the framework here that we had is from the candles here. We had the bullish in pattern, and then I take just the Gravis Fips. I call it the Gravis Fips, and I go from the body here to the wick, and then you have 2 things that might happen. 3 things, sorry. You can either go like this, bounce at the golden pocket and move for higher. That's a bullish in. This 0796 is also a bullish in. And even if it comes like this, it's still bullish, but it cannot close below the body here. It cannot close below the 1-to-1. So this, if you see this on the chart on a daily, on our monthly, it is still bullish, okay? And then the targets are the -0.25 and the -65. And that was what I was looking for. And we got that, and then we got the rejection, okay? Back to Euro, because I'm in a small long on this one as well. On the other account, basically we hit the daily fair value gap, we took liquidity. We have a small inversion. I'm not sure, it could drop a bit lower and then get a new entry here for higher. But I really want to hold this daily fair value gap, so let's see how far it can go. Okay, so back to this one. I'm going to clear some levels that I don't need. I don't really need the EQ equal lows here. Okay, that's it. Let me just zoom out on this one and go to the 15-minute chart now. Nothing. 10-minute chart, nothing. 5-minute chart, something that stands out. A little small fair value gap here. And I guess my sell and profit will hit. Let's see, this is something that is majorly on my chart. So if you go onto the 3-minute, you have this fair value gap here. This fair value gap, which I'm going to look at. We closed above this one, so we should actually move for the high here. So I might get a new entry on the 1-minute if we have an inversion of, yeah, this one. So if we inverse that one, okay, there's no fair value gap here. So no entry, I'm still long. And I guess we could go for equal highs here. Maybe on the seconds chart, you could have like, on the 30 seconds chart, you could have an IFEG lower here. So again, into the fair value gap, although we are missing some kind of swing low. So what else could happen? Yeah, I think it might just go for higher here. We are holding that fair value gap. Like I said, I'm going to leave the 6 contracts till the 4-hourly. Then I will take 2 more out and then I'll just leave it still for a runner. I don't know how high it can go. And here we go with Euro. Already in profit as well. Target in the EQ. On days like this, you can make quite some profit because the volatility is high. But you don't trade during the event. You can trade after and a little bit before. So we haven't actually opened, or we opened like 10 minutes ago. And I'm still in, and I'm already in great profit. Let's see what happens if it can hold the fair value gap here or higher. I can't really find an entry on this, but if you go on to the 30 seconds chart, you might have an inversion for higher. But for now, for me, this is good. And I'll stick with it. Let me check Bitcoin and gold. Came close. Let me check the CME here. Because we are in a monthly fair value gap and we took out a major high. So this is quite bearish and we've hit that EQ. Basically, you have the setup here. I think we could drop a little. 1, 2, 3, back down 4, or even some consolidation, or maybe it's an ABC and it drops even more. I don't know. I said this would be least expected. A major market crash on MNQ, on Bitcoin. I don't think anyone would expect this, but we are in a major fair value gap. We took a swing high. Now we go on to the weekly. If the weekly flips this fair value gap, we short, looking for the low here. We can still hit the 1-to-1. Let me just go back here and see what I can say on the daily. There's nothing really that stands out on the daily for now. maybe on the 4-hourly. Yeah, we do have something on the 4-hourly. We have this major fair value gap here. And I would say if this one inverses, you are looking for the low here and the volume point of control here. And then we have some daily fair value gap that need a rebalancing as well. So at least rebalance those. But I have the monthly fair value gap still higher. For this one, I'm not really sure. Let's see if this one can hold for now. But I would say it has a chance of correcting majorly as well. I think like everyone is so bullish on Bitcoin and the stock market that they don't think that it could drop back to like 30k or something, but I think it's a good reason to be bearish in this zone instead of longing this. I wouldn't long into a monthly fair value gap unless we flip it. But with this run and you have like a couple months green, I would just be careful if you long this. We long this one, we've longed this one, we've longed this one. So we've longed all the major corrections here. I didn't hold them all till here, but I got it here, I got it here. And in March, I guess, I was really good with Bitcoin all the way here as well. So these were great longs. You don't long here. That would be, yeah, that wouldn't be too great. I said to my mom, take some profit here. She's in from 19k. So I said to her, buy at this point here. 19k. I said, buy here. So she's quite happy. And now she took some profit. So that's a runner of 150%. That's great. And now I said, open an account and short it. But she won't. She says she don't want the stress that I have. And I agree. Okay, so very choppy. You don't want to trade this right now. If you're in the long, stick with the long. There's no setup in here. So I guess I'm just going to end the stream already. Take a break, and maybe if I see something, then I will get back to it. But right now, the major move was down and we are in a long, and we'll see how high it can go. If it goes lower, we just try again to long. But right now, the only trade for me would be long. Because we're down so much. I could still drop lower and lower, I don't know. I just look at the major levels and then I look for a long. Let's see if it can hold the fair value gap and maybe take out the low here. Have something like that. So right now it's not really clean. So if you're not in a trade, don't enter. Even for euro, we did inverse it, but we are straight into this huge fair value gap. And to be honest, I'm placing my hard stop here. I don't want it below this daily fair value gap unless we do have a 4-hourly gap on our left. But that's basically also the daily fair value gap. And some equal lows here to look at. I have only one lot, so I can only lose 180. Let's check gold. I was bearish on this one a couple days ago, if you are watching the stream. And I think like I said, the least expected right now is a major crash in all markets, Bitcoin, gold as well. So if we inverse this weekly, then I am looking for a drop into the open fair value gap here, a move back here. So here we could have a short, here I will long, here I will short for the equal lows. And I might look for a short if the weekly close is bearish. We took out equal highs. We have equal lows here still. So I don't know. For me, it doesn't really look great. But if you go on this chart, let's see what happens, because we are at a daily fair value gap. We are at a weekly, so maybe if we hit that weekly, you might get a long scalp. Because we did grab a low. Plays at 4 hourly here. Dropped massively as well. So maybe if we hit that one, you can get a small bounce or a small long too. Which I might try, but let's see. It's down minus 0.25. What about silver? Just crashing as well. I wouldn't really long this. No, I'm not going too long. Unless the 4 hourly closes above. But we have 6 minutes. I don't think that will happen. Then it should bounce right now. Could happen. So we took out the low. We're in a 4 hourly fair value gap. If it grabs and if it closes above, then we're safe. Otherwise, we are looking for the low here and even lower, and the low here. So you have like 5 minutes to push higher. So if you think that this could happen, you might want to long it, but there's no setup. And I don't think that it can move towards the 4 hourly in 5 minutes. This one is still going, just going to move my stop here. Just moving it all the way up, because I'm not going to take any more profits. I'm just going to move my stop loss higher and higher and higher. So even if it goes back to 18K, I'm gonna move that stop at the last low. In this way, I am sure that if it just fully blows higher, that I'm in with a decent amount of contracts. If that makes sense. If I just take half here again, then I'm only left with 3 contracts, and I want to go with a full runner if it can bounce. But we took out equal highs. So if you're in and you don't took any profit yet, there's definitely a moment to take some. But for me, we inversed this one. We took equal highs, so this is indeed your target. And then the next target would be if the 1 hour ends like this, you have like a next target of the EQ around here of that fair value gap, and then the top of the fair value gap. So let's see how the 4 hourly will close. Okay, so the 4 hourly might close slightly below or slightly higher. If it's just slightly below, we can still fully bounce in my opinion, but it would be best if we can close above. If this one closes below, then it could bounce, but then I would try to look for a short lower, because that really shows me that this one is invalid. So we'll see how it will close on the 10 o'clock. I just basically shorted the top yesterday, and now I've longed maybe the bottom. We will see. To go back towards, I literally shorted in here. I think I shorted here even. This is what I shorted here, so that's crazy if you think about it. And why? I'm going to show you why. So we hit the ES, hit that minus 0.65, and then here we took out the equal height. So that's your liquidity level. We inversed this one at a major fib, so I thought this could actually drop. So I went to the 3 minute. I think it was a 3 minute. Yep, it was a 3 minute here. If you go onto the 1 minute, you will see that this one rebalanced a fair value gap in here, a 1 minute fair value gap. To show you, this is the setup that I'm looking for. Here you have the fair value gap, and the 1 minute closed below, and we took liquidity. So you have a fair value gap, we rebalance in it, we take liquidity, and then you just look for the 3 minute or for the last fair value gap. This was here, as you can see, fair value gap. And this one, I shared it on X and everywhere. I shorted this one, so that's basically the actual top. So that is around 2%. And I did the same on Bitcoin a couple weeks ago, I guess. Not sure when it was. Oh, here. I did the same here. We shorted this wick. Okay, you might try a couple times, but eventually I've ended in profit. Although Bitcoin was instantly short, I did try NQ this week a couple times. But yeah, the profit was more than the losses. Definitely with those now. So the 4 hourly, what did the 4 hourly do? The 4 hourly closed below. So I did say that this isn't really bullish, but we might have a bounce and then look for shorts again. So to short this right now, we have a daily imbalance here. So that's something that you should mark on the chart. That will be might be important in the future. But basically the 4 hourly will be important. So this fair value gap, so I'm going to change that to the 4 hourly here, will be important. The EQ of that fair value gap will be important. And of course, if this 4 hourly closes like this, we have another fair value gap, and that's also important. So if it comes back into this fair value gap and maybe even hit the top here, you can look for the same setup, meaning you move higher, you have a high here, you move lower, you hit the fair value gap, something like this. So you sweep the high into the fair value gap, and then you look for the inversion here on a lower time frame, and then you can short it till wherever it goes. But you look for the setup on a 1 hourly fair value gap or a 4 hourly fair value gap. And that's the only ones I'm looking at for the setup. And the daily, of course, the daily and the weekly too. Okay. The weekly on gold hit. Weekly fair value gap hit. So we have a hit and it might give you a little bounce, but I'm not really keen on it because we dropped below the 4 hourly here. We did not yet. So I guess we can still look for a long. I'm going to use, I might do it. Let me check. What? GC, yeah, that one. I don't know how the contracts work on this 100 point value. So, enter micros. MGC. Got some micros here. That's $10 per point. But how it works, it moves with .1. So every .1 is $10. So must be careful. Okay, so this would be, that's weird. Let's just see if I get an entry. And now you have to look at the wicks as well. So you're in a 4 hourly, but we're dropping below. So you gotta take the EQ of the weekly wick. Check the monthly too. Yeah, not really impressive. The daily fair value gap here. The 4 hourly, if we have a 4 hourly lining up, yeah, the 4 hourly here, that is going to be a potential long. Just need to look at how this will work. You also have a major low. I'm not sure if it's on the, it's a bit different, but you have a major low, you have a 4 hourly here, and you have the weekly wick EQ right there. So now I am going to wait. Not really keen on longing this right now. Wait for a bit lower maybe. This level does make sense. This level really makes sense right now. So I have like an indicator called contraction levels. I think I found it from some guy of the Fivers in their Discord, from the prop from the Fivers. He was using it on gold. I think it was using it on a weekly, and every time there was like a green one like this, that's like a major support level. But as you can see, this was a previous major resistance support level, so that's the zone. And then you have the daily here lining up with the EQ, so that stands out to me. I'm just going to do a test long on this, just to check how much I will lose if I enter like with one contract. Let's see if this is 10. And, so I need to calculate it. It's not really giving me like $3 per .1 points, I would say. 2. Let's just wait. It's like $1 per point, I guess. $1. So go probably full size. If I long 20, yeah, probably just go. $200. Yeah, I will go 20. If we hit the EQ and we have a setup. Let's just close this for now. Going to use this one too to look at the EQ, because that's the EQ. We took out the low. Okay, and here we have the weekly fair value gap. So maybe if we hit that one. I'm looking for. So yeah, watching gold here, because kind of want to look for an entry on this one. Gold. Just sharing it here. The reason is the 4-hourly gap, the grab of liquidity, obviously the weekly fair value gap. We pushed through, but I guess we could think of a bounce here that we close above. So it's definitely a reason to take a short, to take a long bounce. If the weekly closes like this, then I'm going to look for lower. But for now, we're down quite a bit. So I'm just looking for scalps here at major zones. This one already hit that EQ. And that's the weekly EQ of the wick. But we did not hit the fair value gap yet. We did grab liquidity. I kind of want it a bit lower. What about MNQ? Have a little inversion here after taking the lows in a fair value gap. So you could say this is a setup, but I don't like this small fair value gap. It should be a bit higher, a bit bigger, sorry. But yeah, you do have an IFEG here. We balanced into a fair value gap. We took out equal lows. But yeah, right now we just closed below again. So it purchased, then closed below again. That's not really great. It's bad price action. Euro, I don't really know. We had a 15-minute IFEG. I'm in a small long, but really tiny. I guess it won't work. We'll see. It hits that daily fair value gap again in a 15-minute fair value gap after the IFEG. So it could hold. Could definitely. You have the EQ. You have the fair value gap here. You take liquidity. Yeah, you might have a potential 3-minute inversion long setup on this one. Yeah. So if this one closes like this above that level, then you target the highs here. So you have a little scalp going on. I'm not trading this one on this account, but I'll probably long gold soon. But anyways, this would be a setup which I might take, but I don't know how this one works either. Let's see, let's place an alert here. It's not really, I don't really want to trade this. There's like literally no volume on these charts to trade with Apex, so I'm not going to touch that. I have another account for Forex. I'm already long. And this would be a new setup on the 3-minute. Okay, so you have the liquidity grab. We've hit the daily fair value gap. We have a rebalance, so you gotta wait for a close above and then place that stop right there. But it's not really looking too good, so gotta wait for this, and then you have this as TP1. And I would definitely look at it because we are at the daily fair value gap, so this is definitely a potential trade. Gold. Might take a blind long on this. Okay, so here you have not yet, but I would enter. You still have like too long to not enter, so I would probably enter and take the trade. I think it might inverse. I'm not sure. If it closes below again, it will probably hit stop loss, but you have, well, 2 minutes. So normally you should wait for the close above. So maybe wait. I'm already long, so, but sometimes you can miss the setup if it already starts going. So I sometimes enter a bit sooner, although you could get trapped then, but now it's only 1 minute. Yeah, you can wait for now. I don't think that it will push through. We'll see. Like I said, I would enter this personally, although I know it's a greater risk if it doesn't close above. But the reason why I would enter is because we hit that daily fair value gap, we took out the lows, we're rebalancing in a fair value gap. I'm already long, and I expect this fair value gap to flip into an IFVG. We'll see. Am I still in this trade? Yes, I am. Pushing through. Like I said, I'm not going to close any more contracts. I'm just going to run this, and I'm going to move my stop loss. Basically, if it makes a new low like this, all right, then I move my stop loss in that low, maybe below the fair value gap. That's rebalancing, and that's what I will do. So now I can exploit my trade for more profits instead of taking half. I think it's important to take half at your first TP. So when I entered, you take half, and then you place your stop loss and profit. But if it goes higher and higher and higher, you just move that stop loss. Otherwise, you will lose, or you will take too much profit, and you will be left with like only 2 contracts or something, and then it suddenly moves because you don't know what will happen, and definitely not now. So it's better to do it like my way. I was in with 20 contracts, so I took half at the first TP, took some more at the second TP, placed it in profit, and now I'm just going to run. And who knows, this might just end up in another 2K. Normally I'm already taking more profits, but that's not, you are already in profits, and now you try to exploit the trade for way higher. So we have Euro USD. This is your trade. We close above. And I set this one, you target price 1, target price 2, and maybe we have a runner. Take half, stop loss and profit, and maybe you'll have a runner. And then just move stop loss at your last high, okay? This is definitely a long. Yes, I'm still in Euro USD. Go. I've entered here on the daily fair value gap. But if you don't enter on these levels, I sometimes blindly enter those major levels, then you have the setup that I'm looking for. You have the fair value gap. You push through take liquidity, so this is a swing low in a fair value gap, and then you get the inversion. So that's a good trade. Even if it doesn't work out, it is the setup. It's a good trade. Target. This is your first target. So TP1 is the next swing high. I do see a small fair value gap here, so you gotta be a little bit careful that this one doesn't reject. Okay. Let's check the 5 minute, and you have a 5 minute fair value gap too, which I missed. Then so you gotta make sure that actually this one is the important one for the setup, because this is the last singular fair value gap. I think it will close. You have 1 minute. If it closes higher, you have a new trade on the 5 minute as well. Target would be actually here, because this is a swing high. You have left a wick, right a wick. Here you have left a wick lower and right a wick lower too. So you take half here, place stop loss and profit, and there you go. But it needs that 5 minute to close above that one. So it has 30 seconds to close, and then it will be definitely confirmed for this trade. I'm already like up big today, and I still have 6 contracts left. So super great trade. Now I'm trying not to take any more profit. I might just take 1, so then I'm left with 5. Let's just take 1, and then I'm left with 5. Oh, I'm going to sell it, of course. Just 1 more contract. That's an even number. That's not an even number, but that's a better number. 5 contracts left, and just run it. So the 5 minutes did close above. So here you have your 5 minute trade. I based it off of the 3 minute inverse fair value gap, but you can do, normally you should go with the last fair value gap. So the 5 minute here. 3 minute has TP1. There you will take a half your profit if you took this trade. I'm in from here. I'm just going to run it because I'm only in with 1 lot, so I'm not going to take profits on that one. Even if it hits stop, it doesn't really matter for me. So now, taking the fibs here, and I'm going to watch the fair value gaps. I don't want it to go below this one again, so I'm just moving that to 5. This is the last fair value gap on this chart. So, but I basically shorted the top yesterday, and I shorted the actual bottom today. So this is how it works. And it's by looking at your weekly, daily, 4 hourly, and 1 hourly. And a target for if you are in all-time high, you look at the Blueprint frameworks for your fib targets. And I've used this many times this week, even on the 4 hourly. And I'm going to show you what happened. Here you have a structure. I think it was an NQ, so I'm not sure if it will happen here. Okay, so it does happen around it. Let me check on the NQ, because I think it was an NQ here. Yeah, so that was another reason that I shorted this. So we have the bullish in pattern. This is a bullish in because we did not close below the 1-to-1. So you go body to wick, body to wick. It didn't close below the 1-to-1. So your target is a minus 0.25 and the minus 0.65. We shorted this one, and look how exact minus 0.65. Look how exact, and I'm using the body to the wick. Normally people just use the wick to wick. I'm not doing this, and look how exact we dropped at the minus 0.5 from this structure. So it works. It works. The blueprint, that's, if you want to look at it, it's on WAP in the Market Matrix group. I have 2 courses, one with Elliott Wave and one with the blueprint. Normally I use the frameworks on the daily chart, but it's pretty nice to use on the 4-hourly as well. And just to show you on a daily maybe what I mean here, this is a bullish N. We've hit this golden pocket, and here this is the minus 0.65, and we're dropping from the minus 0.65. This is a major target. Do I have another one here? I wouldn't really take, well, actually it did hit the golden pocket, a bullish N. Where does it reject the -1, minus 1.5? This one, it didn't really hit the golden pocket, but still, where does it go? Minus 25. There are many. Let's check here. Even on the bearish side, you could have a bearish V. So here, bearish V, minus 1.5, sorry, minus 1.5. This is where the target was, the last target. And then you have this one. Look, bullish, a bearish V, minus 0.25. These are major fibs. And I go from body to wick. I can go on, most likely here, minus 0.25. And even you could do this, because look, we have a body, we have a structure from body, and it didn't really close above. So here you still have your bearish V, minus 0.25. We move higher. Let's have a look here. Where does it hit? -1. You take some profit at the minus 0.25. So every time you have a structure on the daily, bullish N. This example here. You have the last candle closes, bullish N. And it didn't close below that 1-to-1. Where is the target? Minus 0.25. It's that easy. It works insane, literally. It just does not have to close. If you take the last bodies to the wick, everything in here till here is a long for a bullish V. So even if it bounces at the golden pocket, you have to look at lower time frames then, okay? There's just many examples of this. And there you go. We've hit that target price. Now you take half your profit and you move your stop loss in profit. And it's a risk-free trade. So yeah, this is insane, this trade. Honestly. I really want to take more profit here because it's really nice, but just going to do it differently this time and move that stop. Yeah, I said I would move it at like the last low, but there is no correction or something, so I can't really. And there's like too many lines on here right now. Fuck it, I'm just going to delete everything. I just like to start over. No. Oh, I will handle this trade now. I'm up for this one, another 1,200. I went just all in. And I'm going to pass this challenge. It's day 2. And I'm reaching the checkpoint almost. I still need 500 if I close this right now. And then I have the account. I need to wait 2 days actually. I need to wait 7 days. So this is my second day of this account, of this challenge, which is great, but I will have to wait 5 days. Sorry, I'll have to wait 5 days. Boom. Yep. Hi Ariel, how are you doing? So let's zoom out on this. Let's go back to the NQ, and I'm going to delete everything again, because now it's important to look at the daily again. So we bounced at the IB, like the exact imbalance. Just look, this is great. And here you have the daily fair value gap, the previous one. So you want this on your chart, daily fair value gap, and it keeps moving higher right now. Daily fair value gap. I'm going to have to raise my stop though. I don't really want to miss out on. Let's just take one more unit. That's it. One more unit. Market. Sell. And now I watch the 15 minutes. So this will be the bottom 15-minute fair value gap. So that's where I place that stop loss. Okay. Back to NQ. This will be a major level. To the 4 hourly. like I said, we did close below, but what did I say? I say we did close below the fair value gap, correct? Which is not too bullish. But I expect something like this, and then we can still violate this for lower. Unless we just go back higher, but I'm not going to look at the fair value gaps here anymore. The major fair value gaps are here. So you gotta place those on the chart. These don't really matter to me anymore. It's this one that matters. Okay, and if we close the 4 hourly like this, but it's still 4 hours, 3 hours, then this one will be important too. And I'm going to place this one. And obviously this daily I will leave because this is a major level. Euro, your stop would be in profits. I'm just going to try and run it to the highs. If you are not in this trade and you would like to enter, if you think this will just continue back higher, I don't really think that way, because it depends on the daily chart. It depends. If the daily closes below, I wouldn't really look for higher. But we are at all-time high, so I don't really know. So if you would look for an entry here, I would go onto the 15-minute chart. Mark out this 15-minute fair value gap here. Fair value gap. Take that EQ. So if you think it's bullish, even if it comes back inside, we don't really know, but if it makes something like this, and then here, or even that one, it flips, and you have the IFEG here, then you long it till the next swing high. You don't know how high it will go, then it might just go higher again, but that's the setup. You rebalance in a fair value gap. It makes, this is really important, it makes a swing low, and then it takes that swing low. So you have a liquidity grab in a fair value gap. This is the A plus setup. Some people will long it. Some people will long it here. That it drops down, and then here this inversion, they will instantly long. But I've seen it over and over. I've been doing the FX replay on the NQ like a whole day Sunday, a whole day, and every time this trade does not work. It goes lower, it grabs liquidity, this inversion works. So this is the A plus setup. And last week I've been taking this one, and it does not have a high win rate. It's that one after it grabs liquidity, and it's so important. That's A plus. And it's important that it's in a fair value gap. So if you're bearish, because I'm kinda, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm now bearish or bullish on the daily. It depends on how this closes. But if you are bearish, then I will go to the 1 hour, to the 4 hourly, and look for the fair value gap here, or maybe here. This one, this level, is important. So what do I want to see if I want to short? If I want to short, I want to see a high. So if I'm bearish, it goes back down, moves into this 4 hourly fair value gap, grabs liquidity, and then here you look for the inversion. This is the A plus setup. So here this would be the IFEG. And then you short it, and it works. It's insane how many times this works. Don't short this. Don't short it if you have no liquidity grab. So if it just moves like this, and then here you have an inversion, that's not good. This, it might work, but usually it's not the best setup. If this happens, then I would actually look for a long in here, something like this, and it grabs liquidity. So important. So we're still pushing. I'm up. Yeah, I'm up with those still 1,200. I was with 20. I think I'm up like almost 3K. on the trades today. And for the people that are just joining, it was basically just because of the daily imbalance, and then you have the inversion, and I blindly took that long here and a bit sooner as well for a little scalp. And you see I scalp it, and then I get stopped out in profit, but I take half stopped out in profit. I think I longed it 2 times, and then the 3rd time it just goes insanely high. So the top of this daily, okay, here I will take, I know I said I wouldn't take more contracts, but I'm going to take 1 more. Just a really nice, and I will close it at the end of the day in total. I don't want any open positions overnight. So I just close 1 more, and I stop loss. Let's check the 15 minutes. My stop loss, I will place it at the EQ of the, I will do it like this. That's fair. Okay, so that's the EQ, a bit below that. And I think if it drops back and we're bullish, then even then I could have like another setup here. It's not, I don't know if it's ICT or if it's a strategy that ICT uses. I'm using the frameworks on the daily and the weekly that I teach in the Blueprint in the course. So that's something that I cannot find anywhere. And I'm using the FIBs from body to wick, the bullish in patterns. That gives me targets on the daily. That gives me my direction. And then I guess the fair value gaps are ICT. The inversions are ICT. The way I use it is probably a bit different than how he does. I don't know. I have 1 setup for my entry setup, and that's it. And that's the inversion grab of liquidity in a major fair value gap. Just what I said. So we hit a major fair value gap, then you have the liquidity grab. I don't know. It doesn't really care if it's like this. This is the liquidity grab. Here you have the inversion, and then I short it. That's the only setup that I take. A couple months ago, I did had another setup, and that was basically, I think, also an ICT setup, because the thing is, what he does work, in my opinion, or some things do really work. I think he knows very well how this market works. But you cannot trade like him. He has like lots of experience. So I focus only on 1 setup for entry, and then my usual Blueprint for Forex and for the daily charts. So if I just go onto the daily chart here, and I would say, okay, this is still bullish, because what do I see? We have the closes here. So you're gonna take that FIB. You have the close here. I go body to wick. So this is still a valid bullish in. So we could still make, we're high though, but this is a valid bullish in pattern. I've just explained it in previously, and if you go through the charts, you will see those setups over and over and over again, and even on Bitcoin. You can use it on everything. I predicted Euro last year. Like literally this whole move, everything from April till here, I predicted. I even draw it out like this. You have to go back to the Bangravis archive to find it, but I literally did that. And what do you see here? I say there is a framework, the bullish in. I only use this on the higher time frames. There are two ways you can take the fibs here, either from this starting point or from this starting point. But look here. Take it from this starting point into the golden pocket. So this is a framework, the bullish N. The bullish N can come to here, here, or here. It cannot close below the -1. And then you target the -25. So here I drew it before it even worked, and then it rejected. And then I said, if we reject that and fall back below, we are targeting the lows here. And what happened here, you could still say this is probably a bullish N, but look at this. We close below the we close below the 1-to-1. So this is not a valid, you cannot target this. You cannot target this. So this to me already said, this close below probably ain't bullish anymore. We should look for shorts. And then you can just take the same thing. This is a structure, the bearish V. You can see the V here. And in my opinion, it's on a weekly chart, but we are targeting the -0.25, and that's in the monthly fair value gap here. Okay, that's on the weekly. I don't know if that will happen, but you could clearly took that short here. Why we closed below the 1-to-1 of this, and you have a bearish V pattern. I use this on the daily as well. Even better on the daily if you want to make some swing trades. Look at this, the bullish N. Where is the target? -25. So you have a fair value gap in here even to look for that long. You have a daily structure framework that you're working with. Bullish V, boom, -0.25. And in the weekly, bearish V. Any more that you could... It always starts out with a left shoulder. That's something that I teach as well. On the daily, you have to look on the daily for the setups, swing setups. Left shoulder, hit, right shoulder. Then you have the bullish N. And if this one, the third one, is really expansive, then expect another bullish N. And again and again and again on the daily. This is what I traded. I literally traded this as a long. I still know this. So here you take the fibs. Where do you target? You have the bullish N, -25. If you go through the charts, it's literally every time that this works. So I use this on a daily. Next, here you had another structure. Where do you target? The -25. It's literally insane how much this works. Left shoulder, hit, right shoulder, bullish N, bullish N, bullish N, bullish N. And always the -25 or the 65 is as a target. Now I'm bearish, of course. Let me just close this. This would have been a bit difficult to short it on the daily, but let's see if it did something. Okay, here you have the bearish. So you're bearish because you have hit that weekly structure V. Why it's a V? Because we closed below the 1-to-1. Here you take the structure from here to here. You have the bearish V. You've rejected that golden pocket into the daily fair value gap. Your target is -25, -65, -1. And if it just keeps going, this is most likely going to be our real target. Okay, which means that it's, then you just look where it can go on the daily. If you have some fair value gaps here, you have this fair value gap and you have this low, which means that if it pops under it like this and then quickly back higher, you have these long setup for higher again. So that's the setup, then the long that I would take. Right now using ICT, then you do have the daily fair value gap, but I guess using my blueprint framework that we could see it a bit lower. But the setup that I would use on a lower time frame, we definitely have the fair value gap. We hit the daily fair value gap. We took out this low, so we have a liquidity grab. Now we look for the inversion. I'm in a small long on euro, but the scalp that I shared is already finished. I think if your stop loss was in profit. Looking at this chart now using the blueprint, I guess we could go for the low here instead of bouncing. Definitely because I'm thinking that we could go lower. So I guess this is something I would look for. We'll see. I have now the 15 minutes here. So if we long, if you're looking for a long now, we have a valid, I will do it on the NQ, sorry. Do it on NQ. You have a valid 15-minute fair value gap. We are quite, there's some distance still, we hit this one. So if we have a move back down into the EQ, something like this, then this is a new long setup, because you're rebalancing in a fair value gap. But you should be careful if we hit this one and then look for the trade, then I'm not really certain that it will bounce here. Maybe just a scalp, because normally if you see the setup in a fair value gap, it most likely does work, like 90% win rate. Yeah, so now I just will wait. If you wasn't able to enter along. So here you have a fair value gap, but let's push it lower here. We've hit that daily fair value gap. I was looking at gold too, and I probably missed my entry. Or it's still at the .5. We are still here. It might take a long. I kind of wanted that minus the EQ here of that wick and maybe the 4-hourly to hit. We did inverse this one, but it wasn't able to get towards this high. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I wanted a bit lower first. Silver is still looking fairly bearish too. Earlier this week, I was looking at Euro GPY, but it didn't really actually happen what I thought that would happen. So here I was looking for what I just teached, the bearish V in the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. So the bearish, the bullish end, sorry, bullish end. It didn't happen, but look at the daily here. Just to close it. Look at the daily. If you're looking at the blueprint, so I have the course in WOP. If you look at the daily here, and I only trade Forex based off on the weekly, daily, 4-hourly. And it's like literally gold, what I'm going to say and what I'm teaching. It did not close below the 1-to-1. So body to wick is a valid bullish in framework. So my target, and you're going to see this within a couple of weeks, I will show what happened. This is my target. Here I look for a short, and it could still go to the minus 65.2. So you look for a short scalp. Maybe it turns out into a bullish. Turns out into a runner. You don't know. So here was your entry. Definitely, if you grab liquidity in a fair value gap, you have the bullish N. This is ICT and MMT. I say on its finest. You have the bearish, the bullish fair value gap. You have the low. You have the grab of liquidity, and then even you could go to the 12-hourly. And here you have the inversion. So this is your long. So you have the bullish in pattern. You have the inversion after grabbing liquidity in a fair value gap, then it holds it, and you run it to minus 25. So with my strategy, you have the daily target, and if you were in this one, you could run it as a swing trade. So this is basically what you use on swing trades. So if you're working and you cannot trade NQ because you don't have time, then I would definitely recommend using the Blueprint course. Then you just long it on the 12-hourly inversion, or even if it just closes, grabs liquidity, just even on the daily here, stop loss here, and just like a very decent long. If you have the close above, so you see that it tries 2 times, you have a decent long. If you want more confirmation, you had to go to the 12 hourly and your stop loss would be here. So it's a bit less RR wise. So this would be your target and maybe even that one, but always take your profit. Even take a swing high, take half at least. Or if you have a major fair value gap in here, don't be scared to take profits, but this is how you swing trade. Going on to the daily here. Let me see if I can find like a decent swing trade soon. Yeah, I think it was this one. But let's see. This is not good anymore. You could have like a weekly structure from here to here and along it towards this, but we went down, so it's not really bullish. So if this happens, you just look for daily setups. And here you probably had one. So you have the structure, golden pocket, and you can short it towards the minus 25. So I look on the weekly, but the daily are your entries. The daily is, you look for the frameworks on the daily. So here you had a framework, body to wick, and it bounced from that golden pocket. So your target is a minus of 25. We have equal highs here. So yeah, I am using some ICT stuff. But here you might make a scalp short from the minus of 25, and then the real target would be the minus 65 because of the equal highs, I guess. Euro GBP is something that I was looking for. Same thing, we had the bearish V, and yeah, this is the target, minus of 25. So I'm going to look for a potential grab of liquidity. If it doesn't happen, we look for the minus 65, and here that grab of liquidity. It looks like an ABC as well. So yeah, there's nothing really that I can see anymore. All right, so I'm going to end this stream. Very nice trades. Hope you learned some new stuff. If you're still in, place that stop loss and profit, and then I will see you tomorrow.